Dr. Hegde is a 2010 Padma Bhushan Awardee. He is a renowned physician and the former Vice Chancellor of Manipal University. Professor B M Hegde is a recipient of numerous national and international awards, including Dr. B.C. Roy National Award, Dr. J.C. Bose Award for Life Science Research, Pride of India Award from the Pacific Association of Indians in California, US, and he has also authored several books in English and Kannada. Apart from publishing several medical research papers, he was also the editor-in-chief for Journal of the Science of Healing Outcomes, Mangalore and Penn. Here is a credit bouquet of Dr. B M Hegde. Let's welcome Professor B M Hegde.
A very good afternoon to all of you. My brothers and sisters in the audience and on the dais, members of the press, and the future leaders of the world, the students. Well, I was invited here to give a keynote address on this, what I don't know what to call it, a symposium, seminar, conference or what have you, on education and industry interface, which is a subject very dear to my heart. Let us understand these three words first: education, industry, interaction. What is education? Education is just making a human being out of an animal. You are not teaching anything to a child. Nobody can teach anybody anything that he or she already does not know. Because on the day you are made in your mother's womb, if you know evolutionary biology, your consciousness comes into you when you are a single cell, nucleated cell called the zygote. All information in this world, posteriori and priori. Our job is to get this out and polish the child depending on the aptitude of that particular child to fit him into society. Mr. Ramachandran was talking about health as the basis of everything. Let me tell you something. What is industry? Industry is something that is there for profit. Is that right? Let's make it very simple. Very, very simple. The first industry started in the Industrial Revolution 1802 in England. There was this romantic British poet, William Wordsworth. He wrote a nice poem. I want each one of you who have anything to do with industry and education to read this poem. The poem's title is called "The World is Too Much with Us." I'll tell you 4 lines, then you read the rest. The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little do we see in nature that is ours. We have sold our soul to the devil, a sordid boon. Full stop. This is the first answer. You would be surprised. They were talking about the future. Of course, in quantum physics, there is no future. Future is yet to be born. But anyway, let us talk about the future. There was this company which started a few years ago in Boston by a young PhD from MIT, Eric Drexler. He called the company as Futuristic Inc. And what did he advertise? I will create self-replicating nanobots. We don't require father and mother in the future. We can create human beings of any type you want. Custom built. You order and I will build it for you. Because it's all technology. After all technology, what is there? You would be surprised. The venture capitalist paid him $100 billion in no time. Because this is the end of it, I want a Hitler. I will create a Hitler. No father, no mother needed. Then his own PhD teacher, a Nobel laureate chemist, Richard Smalley, had to write an article in the Boston Globe saying that don't believe, don't worry, this young man will not be able to do that. Because you can't even create a DNA, forget about a self-replicating nanobot. Company died a natural death, but of course the man made money. That's exactly what it is all about. We have sold our soul to the devil, a sordid boon, wrote William Wordsworth. What is education really? You know, Yale University, our friend was referring to Yale University. There is a professor of English in Yale University called William Dereswix. He has written a beautiful article. I recommend all of you to read that. It's called Disadvantages of Elite Education. We are creating a set of people who are so concentrated in themselves and they have built a wall around themselves and they can't communicate with the outside world. In my concept, I have been a teacher for more than half a century and I have taught students all over the world, and my concept is education is to make a healthy mind and not just a wealthy career. Today look at India. Every university is under distress. There's unrest. Why unrest? Educational campuses should create healthy minds. Healthy minds. What is the definition of healthy mind? Healthy mind is that mind which has got enthusiasm to work. Enthusiasm to work. Mark my words, enthusiasm to work and enthusiasm to be compassionate. Ask yourself a question tomorrow morning. Do I want to go to school or do I have to go to school? 99% will say, I have to go to school. Not even 1% will say, I want to go to school. Do you know why? We have created the schools in such a way that the Nobel laureate Dr. Alexis Carrel in his book Man the Unknown wrote, every newborn child is a genius, only to be converted into an idiot in school. I was observing a child, day before yesterday, I was in the Bangalore airport. As usual, we were in the bus, like the hurried things to be taken to the aircraft, but the last VIP passenger did not come. So I stuck in the bus, waiting for the VIP passenger. And there was this little kid in the bus, 4-year-old kid, with his father and mother and a young sister, 2-year-old sister who needed to be fed. And the mother and the father were concentrating on that. But this boy was so curious, you know. This is real curiosity of a scientist. The boy was jumping. Dad, look at that huge plane, Dad. Are we going in that plane? The dad was feeling so bad because, you know, he is very sophisticated, educated person. He didn't want his son to disturb the... He said, shh, keep quiet. Dad, look at that big one. The other one is moving. It's moving like a bus. It's not flying. Are we going in that one? See the curiosity? He was seeing a huge 737 getting out of its bay and it was just taxiing. So this boy thought this will run like a bus. He didn't want to go in that. And then I was watching that. Dad was trying to suppress him, but he wouldn't get suppressed. Now, there comes this small little bombardier of the spice jet, which is that coming. He said, look at the child of that big plane, Dad. Okay, we can go in that. I love that child. See that? This is called curiosity. And if you have the same curiosity as an adult, organize it a bit, touch it with a little skepticism, you become a brilliant scientist. Today, what is science? Building a laser-dependent, what is that called, gravitational wave center, which will take science forwards. I don't know how many of you remember, a few months ago, maybe a year ago, the CERN scientists said, we have now got the God particle, which of course the scientist was Godam particle, the editor made it to God particle, and the God particle is the basic foundation stone of this universe. We are 99% sure, but not 100%. Why? Their first, that grant had come to an end, and the second grant was due, and you got to write a paper saying that you got something positive, otherwise the next grant won't come. Today's science is not curiosity, but grant collecting, paper writing, CV building, and then going up the ladder. This is not science, my dear friends. Gravitational waves are reported to have been seen. And everybody gives credit to Albert Einstein. I don't know if Albert Einstein ever knew about gravitational waves. Because you are told Albert Einstein is great, he made the relativity theory, the special relativity theory and what have you. But have you checked whether these theories have been proven right or wrong by experiment? No, you didn't bother because they're not taught in the school. So friends, we have all become what we are because our educational system is wrong. Let us have an educational system which makes human beings have a healthy mind. Where is the mind? Where is the mind? You're all teachers, right? Where is the mind? Never mind. But let me tell you a secret. The mind is not in the brain. The mind is not in the brain. Did you hear that? And mind is consciousness. And consciousness now is accepted by science. And the future science will be biocentrism. Now I do an experiment on a dog or a cat or a rat and a report. Supposing the same dog or the same cat is experimented on by another human being, would you believe the results will be about 30 to 40% different? Because my consciousness interacts with the dog's consciousness. Dog has an idea of this universe. I have an idea of this universe. We don't have a universe, we have a multiverse. So education also is expanding like technology. Technology interface, industry education interface was a big thing in the West about 20 years ago. Universities were very happy because they were getting a lot of money because industry has money, and they built centers of marriage between the industry and the interface. This was a love marriage to begin with. There was no arrangement. Very soon the marriage fell out because one student in Harvard was sitting in the class and the professor was preaching something on something, A, B, C, D. Let's not go into the details. And the student was so confused. So student got up and said, "Sir, you are talking like an industry representative and you're not talking like a scientist. What will happen to a student who gets up and tells a very distinguished professor that you're talking through your hat? What will happen to him in your colleges? He'll become an outstanding student. Right? That's what happened to Werner Heisenberg in 1925 in the Zurich Polytechnic. Einstein was going eloquent on E is equal to mc squared. And then this boy said, "Sir, you're talking through your hat." So Werner Heisenberg became an outstanding student of physics for 30 years, and he got his Nobel Prize for his uncertainty principle, probably is the only one principle which is certain in science, in 1956. So this boy said, "I am going to find out about this student," because this Harvard student, and he found out, to cut the long story short, that he found out this professor was on the payroll of the industry. He had 47,000 shares in the industry. He had received in the last 10 years $10 million for consultation, lecturing, and this and that, and what have you, what's called hospitality. And the professor lost his job. Then Harvard found out 48% of their professors are on the payroll of the industry. Yale, Princeton, you name it, they had it, except Penn State University. So student assessment of the universities, all these elite universities lost their A status. They came to C, B, D, F. Now what? Let us keep education separate. Let's not mix up the two things. Let us have basic education to make a human being a human being. I changed the Vedic saying, Janmanaha jatu jantu, Karmanaha jatu dvijaha. So Janmanaha jatu jantu, Vidya jatu manushaha. To make a man, you must have education. Then when once he is a graduate, okay, you teach him anything you like. IT man wants to teach him only IT, and another auto industry man might like only all people to be auto industrialized, etc., etc. Now as a doctor, I have a problem now. I have a new disease. It's called IT syndrome. I'm not joking. I'm very serious. I'm not joking. I have many young men and women who have problems when they're about 25, 30. By the time they're 30, they've already had high blood pressure, their diabetes, their hearts are not functioning normally, girls don't menstruate, they're very irregular, and everybody is diagnosed with some A, B, C, D label. What I found over the years was that this dirty electricity that comes, you have this Wi-Fi in your house, in your room, 10 mobile phones charging all over the place, and you take one mobile phone and keep it there and talk 2 hours together, brain tumor is likely to come very soon. cancers are on the rise, everything is going up. And what is happening there? Rat race. Did you know that before money came into this world, there was no illness at all? I'm not joking. Yeah, I can't be joking it. ICTACT. ICTACT is a very important thing. I'm seriously telling you, I'll give you a reference. Failure of scientific medicine, the Innu community study. A paper in the Canadian Journal of Medical Education, 1962. What did the paper say? There was this group of people called Innus off the coast of Saskatchewan. They were aboriginal races in some islands. They had no touch with the reality of what we call a civilization, quote unquote. They had their own egalitarian society. They were hunter-gatherers. They had hunted, gathered things. They got fruits, etc. And all. Distributed equally. There was nothing called I, mine. No, it is ours, we. See the two words? I means illness. We means wellness. We have now high-rise buildings, wide ways. But where do we live? We live in apartments, keeping people apart. When I was a little kid in a village, there were a few people in the village. Even if one man had fever, the whole village will know. Today in your high-rise, multi-storied, high-tech building, the neighbor dies, till the dead body starts smelling. You won't know. Why does the dead body smell? 500 species of germs in this universe start eating every part of that body. Our ancestors were very scientific. That's why they made your shoes out of skin, because skin is the last part to be eaten up by these germs. So it lasts longer. But all the other muscle and all will be over in about weeks' time. And all that smell is emanated by the fungus that grows. And then only you say, somebody must have died somewhere in the vicinity, maybe in the same building or in the next building. This is not what we want for future. We want a little bit of understanding ourselves. Naan Yar. Ramana Maharshi wrote a beautiful book. Naan Yar. Who am I? Do you know who you are? And why are you here? You have not understood that. Education must teach you that. What are you here for? Our ingress into this world, wrote D.H. Lawrence, was naked and bare. Did you come with anything here? Even underwear you didn't have. Our progress in this world is trouble, but care for others. Our egress from this world will be nobody knows where. But if you do well here, you will do well there. So don't worry where you are going, heaven or hell. Both ways you are happy, because if you went to heaven, that's where you wanted to go. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Supposing perchance you go to hell by mistake, not your mistake, God's account keeping mistake, which is not computerized yet. So what happens? What happens to you? You are in hell with so many of your friends. You are so happy. So don't you worry about where you are going and what is going to happen. If you do well here, you will do well there. What do you do here? The next thing of healthy mind. What is that? Enthusiasm to be compassionate. You want happiness, do you? See that someone you give happiness. Happiness will come back. It's like a mirror. Wrote Christina, if love is what you give away, love is what comes back each day. If happiness is what you give away, happiness is what comes back each day. You think now IT advancement, America is the most advanced country. But let me tell you the secret. America is the most unhappy country in the world. America has the largest number of illnesses. And America has the shortest life expectancy among the industrialist countries. And America has the costliest medical system. And America has the maximum number of illnesses and least number of well people. As a matter of fact, there is no well person at all. An American professor wrote this beautiful book, please read this, called The Last Well Person. The Last Well Person. The professor's name is Norton Hadler, who is professor in the Princeton University's medical school. Why? 14 countries, industrialized countries study showed Japan with the least number of doctors per capita, vis-a-vis America with the largest number of doctors per capita, Japan with the least number of specialists, and America with almost 99.99% specialists. And America spending the maximum amount of money, Japan spending the least amount of money. Japan is the best country for health, longest longevity, and happiness-wise, they are the best. America is the worst. You don't believe me, right? Write down, read this article. Is US medicine the best in the world? What's the article's name? Is US medicine best in the world? Who wrote it? A professor in Johns Hopkins University. Her name is Barbara Starfield. And where is the article published? In the very most prestigious American journal called JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association. Year is 2000, volume 284, page 483. Please read this. No, you should know the reality, right? Where is the reality? All that we're having is hype. You know what happens in any statement? Winston Churchill said it so beautifully. Our papers write various statements, our politicians make various statements, our leaders make various statements, and when I came here, they took me to a room called VIP room. I was afraid, I missed a beat. Because my concept of a VIP is very insignificant person. So I thought, and it proved to be right because, I was supposed to give a keynote address in the beginning and I was almost being pushed off to an extent that I wanted to go away, and then the young man caught me and said, no, I will give you some time here, just talk. So, again, I was reminded of what Winston Churchill said. In any statement, there are three important things. What are they? Who makes the statement? If he is somebody very, very big, it's a very important statement. How does he make the statement? If he makes it in a fashionable way, call the press and then talk about it, he is important. And what he says is the least important. So you have a lot of these statements made, but the reality is, with more money, more industry, more advancement, we have less health, more problems, and mankind is not happy today. In America, there are two diseases. Not heart attack and cancer, they have gone side. Suicide. And divorce. I know in Bangalore, they had ordinary courts, and I was talking to the lawyers. In an average, about 1,000 divorces in a year, in all the Bangalore courts. Now they have a divorce court in Bangalore, and every month they have got about 5 to 10,000 divorce cases being filed. So we are catching up with America. We are not bad. We have been aping America, but we are catching up with America. And frustration. When do you get frustration? When you don't have a healthy mind, you get frustration because I want. Some Shishya came to the Guru and said, I want peace, Swamiji. Swamiji said, repeat that. I want peace. Say that again without the I. Want peace. Say that without the want. Peace. See, there is peace. What disturbed peace? Want and I. So when you want, I want money, I want job, I want promotion, I want this, I want that, I want to be the President of India, and if you don't become, you get frustrated, and the next thing is suicide. Do you want this to happen? Do you want this country also to follow the American way? No. We must have our own. See, we have our own background. Modernity does not come from the United States of America or Britain or Europe. Modernity should come from your own antiquity. There's a beautiful saying, that doesn't mean just say India was great and sleep and eat nothing. No. India was great, but we have to modernize it. That's what, see, for example, modern Western medicine, which we think is the panacea for all modern human ills, has been mumbo-jumbo, sorcery and witchcraft 5,000 years ago in the Nile Valley. But it modernized itself. And that is where India has to modernize from its antiquity. I'll give you one example. We have hell of a lot of wonderful drugs for various diseases, but we don't bother about them for the simple reason that the industry from the West is selling it in a big way here, saying that ours is the only thing that for you. And what are they selling? Reductionist chemicals. When you put a reductionist chemical in the system says, this is poison, reject it. And it's thrown into the liver for destruction. So every one of you, mark my words, every one of you, when you're taking any tablet, you go for have a liver function test done, your liver function test is damaged. And today we have a new disease, which is a huge disease called non-alcoholic cirrhosis. When I was a student 60 years ago, we never heard of anything other than alcohol as a cause of cirrhosis. Today, we don't have alcoholic cirrhosis at all because there is an awareness about not drinking too much. Of course, they still drink, that's a different thing. But today, non-alcoholic cirrhosis, which kills people left, right, and center. And all this we don't think because we think modernity comes from the West. You see, for 45 years I've been writing that the best fat for the human system, other than the mother's milk, is coconut oil, because mother's milk and coconut oil contain the same fatty acid, monolauric acid, which is the basis of our immune system. People have been abusing me. Now America has turned a U-turn and said, yes, coconut oil is good. You go to America today, Costco's big building, their main building is half coconut building. People eat cornflakes with coconut milk and not with cow's milk. It takes time. See, the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research boys did something wonderful. There are about 40 studies on Brahmi. Brahmi is a small, ek pata hai, Tamil enna solringe, and the Brahmi enna solringe? Ennade? Ama, adar chutney pannuvaangala. நம்ம வீட்ல சட்னி பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. For brain, for stimulation of your memory, not the mind. என்னது? பல்லாரிக்கீரை, correct. On this, they were extracting the pallarikile's chemicals and doing studies and saying it is no good. It is good for cooking, it's good for chutney, but not for medicine. 5 boys, young boys in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research wanted to modernize ancient wisdom. There is a nice saying in Latin, respice to prospice. If you want to look forwards, look backwards. And these boys did chutney out of the pallavi and fed it to rats. With a control group of rats, not fed the chutney. And would you believe, in 6 months' time, the rats became so intelligent that they could get out of any maze. Then they killed the rat. What they found was there is an area of the brain which stores your memory, which is called the hippocampus major. And the hippocampus major of these rats would become 3 times its size. They cut the hippocampus major, studied the cells. They were so super active, large cells. So they proved that Brahmi as a whole, not in bits and pieces as a chemical, has different effect. And this is the basis of Indian systems of medicine. It's not one system. There's Siddha in South, there's Ayurveda, there's Unani, there's so many systems. But we don't encourage that because we are not modern. It's not computerized system. Now slowly people have woken up. They are computerizing the Vata, Pitta, Kapha systems, which are the genetico-constitutional varieties. And they are now trying to see what's the gene mapping, etc., etc. By the time genes have all gone into oblivion, we have come to epigenetics. Now it's the environment that you evolve. See, we find so much of things changing because it was very important to know in any field for that matter. And do you know what happened to this industry, education, marriage? All divorced in the West. Even the buildings are broken down or used for some other purpose because they found the industry is influencing education. Did you understand that? No, you didn't. Yeah, don't worry. So, there was this thinker, great thinker, a professor of social philosophy in the London School of Economics, was like a colossus and ruled the London School of Economics in the 50s and 60s for 20 long years. Karl Popper. Karl Popper wrote, I quote, knowledge advances not by repeating known things, but by refuting false dogmas. Did you understand? Knowledge advances not by repeating known things, but by refuting false dogmas. Ptolemy, 2nd century BC said, the sun goes round the earth, right? No? You look at the sun, goes up and up and up. And then evening, down, down, down. He was right. For 500 years, everybody taught, everybody believed, everybody wrote PhD thesis, and everybody said, sun goes round the earth. What's called the geocentric concept. It was in the 7th century, Copernicus came and said, he is Polish, but he is called Greek, and he said, the earth goes round the sun, the heliocentric concept. So for 500 years, we have been asses believing in what the West said. 127 AD, Galen said, blood is pumped from the liver. It took us 1500 years, 1628 to be precise. William Harvey said, cogito, the blood circulates from the heart. De morto cordis. Because we all believed in science in the Western days. What is science? Cogito ergo sum. Because I think I am. This should be changed because that boy was only 17 years old. He had some mathematical background. And what it should happen is, because I am, I think. You think when you know what you're thinking. Not because you think you are. So this is how science has lost its way. Define science, for example. What is science? Marie Curie said, science is measurement, measurement is science. If that is so, do you think? Can you think? Can you measure your thinking? Do you love your wife or husband? Can you measure love? So all these are unscientific. Thinking is unscientific, love is unscientific, because it can't be measured. You can only measure 5% of what you know in this universe. 5%. That's only energy you know. Gravitational energy, nuclear energy, electromagnetic energy. Because you know how to measure it. 95% of the occult energy you can't. And that is where the whole issue is. So if you want to do research, don't go around in this 5% only, known area. Go to the unknown area. Because unknown area you can't go because you are afraid to go into the unknown area. But if you want progress, you must go into the unknown area. So I am happy that the industry is coming into education. But my only request is, let a student, boy or a girl, finish some education to begin with to make him or her a healthy mind with not just for a wealthy career. And after that you start the wealthy career business. The Innus did not have any disease in their written history up until 1732. Yes, running out of time. This is what happens to we teachers. We go by the calendar, not by the clock. I was assured keynote addresses for 1 hour. I hope I have finished my 1 hour, because when it comes to you, the seconds are less for a minute, and when it others, the 5 minutes talk becomes half an hour. It's still time. That's what I told you in the beginning. Who says it, how he says it, and what he says. What he says is the least important. So friends, let me stop it, because I still remember the advice given to Jefferson. Stand up, speak up, and shut up. I am shutting up. Before I did that, let me thank the organizers for being so kind as to invite a villager outsider from, I am not an industrialist, I don't know anything about industry, but I know something about education, not everything, I know something about education, so I thought I fit in. So thank you very much, and thank you for the encouragement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we have a standing note of thanks to Dr. Hegde. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your time.
I must thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you.